with understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is a human number. Its number is 666.
I left alone. My mind was blank. I needed time to think, to get the memories from my mind. What did I see? Can I believe that what I saw that night was real and not just fantasy? Just what I saw in my old dreams. Were they reflections of my woman staring back at me? 'Cause in my dreams, it's always there. The evil face that twists my mind and brings me to despair.
So, have you fallen for bullshit? Everybody thinks, even I myself think, what I believe is truth because it's self-evident to me. Does that mean it's truth for you? Maybe not. Maybe not. But I would like to think that the things I learn are based in logic and discerning. And I'd like to hope that other people do that too. And so I figured I'd just jump on without something planned, and I thought of a certain group. Just like, psst. I said, betcha it only takes 2 or 3 seconds to connect these things together for you so you could see what you've been deceived about. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to jump over real quick, and I'm going to type something in. Let's see here. Let's go. I thought about this group today. Actually, I was thinking about them the other day. S-H-A-K-E-R. All right. The Shakers. The movers and shakers. The Quakers and Wakers. Yes, it's the Shakers. The millennial restorationalist Christian sect founded in the 18th century, shaking Quakers, okay, because they're a classic behavior during worship service. They've shaked and waked and quaked and all that crazy stuff. The era of manifestations, okay. What is important here is how we see some of these past religious groups, religions themselves basically, tie into what's going on today. Okay. Now, interesting thing here is you're going to see how a lot of religions rooted in the Northeast concentrated. A lot of the gurus came, believe it or not, from Maine. And then New York plays a large part in our history and basically jumpstart religions, or religions that got an extra jumpstart when they came across the pond. But what I wanted to show you is how quickly, let's watch out for this tree, these trees. A lot of Jewish religions use these trees, the tree of life, the tree of death, I call them. But the trees, when they symbolize, connected to different religious groups, usually means they're into some bizarre shit. I don't know why. I wonder, Anyways, I wanted to see if sexual intercourse, isn't that interesting? But what I wanted to show you here, okay, in Enfield, Connecticut, there's a main leader there. I always see the stuff. Somehow it's always connect communal lifestyle, communalism, utopian societies, communism, and this is how they get people into these groups, okay? And they never last. Of course, they never last. But do they? Have they just kind of transformed themselves into new groups that we don't hear about? But they are out there in America today. And I was thinking about it as I know the Shakers connect to the Great Awakening. So I wanted to just scan through it. Look at all these crazy people that would shake and wake. Oh, I got the Spirit in me. it's a very, I guess you would call it like, almost like the Haitians and their zombie movements, where the Walking Dead, or they're convinced of a manifestation, and they're welcoming the spirit in them. But is it a demonic spirit, or what is it? That they're being convinced of. They're convinced that it's a holy, beautiful spirit, and it may be, but in reality, the way they're doing it is, incantations of the Luciferian doctrine. Okay, but I almost guarantee, I'm going to scan through here. I can guarantee that this will connect to a great awakening. We're getting the bottom here. Maybe it won't. Let's see. The first, always they got that work in that second coming of Jesus. There's always a big part of the bullshit. Gender roles, worship, shaker communities. Oh, here we go. Yes, part of the first and second Great Awakening. And you saw there was a roundhouse there too. And the reason why I wanted to show you this, okay, and why it's kind of important, is, all right, the Great Awakening, right? I don't know how many times I have to say this. The Great Awakening. Awaken. Wake up. Waking. Wake it up. You're woke up. And what happens? Especially with so many people, at least I've come across, they've come from, well, maybe not being that spiritual, or not that religious, or not even religious at all. And all of a sudden, I got the Spirit of Jesus in me, right? They all of a sudden are religious, right? So, wait a second here. You're telling me people wake up and become more religious. I myself, I think I got a little bit more religious myself. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with believing in a creator God, or whatever religion you want to believe in. It's fucking fantastic. What's important to know is more about these awakenings and how they use them to manipulate people. Okay? So you need to understand, you woke up, and then what happened? You went into a religion, went into these new different beliefs. Now, whether those beliefs are right or wrong is not the point. Not at all. Truth is very in the utmost importance. What's believed in between those lines of truth are also very important, because you need to understand why you're believing them. And is it a case where they may have brainwashed you? Now, let's go back here again for a second. Now, let's go on before we go into the Great Awakening here, but go back to the Shakers. They had their round stone building, but communal living, okay? But let's see where, I'm sure we have it. Back here when they did their, okay. Are you one of these people? Are you one of these people? Huh? Are you one of these Quakers and Shakers and dancing all around? Glory, hallelujah. May not be doing that in your house or anything, but isn't that kind of what's going on when you're online? And you're online and chant, oh, look, John 3:15-14 said you blah, 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 blah. And then the next person goes, oh, yeah, you're right. And then Isaiah 3:19 said, oh, la, la, la. And next thing you know, you're all in a trance. And there's nothing wrong. Man, whatever passage is probably good and fine. And the Bible usually tells you some great things. And I think that's fantastic. But what I'm saying is, has your mind been controlled to do this? And there's nothing wrong with being a part of this. The point is you must understand how you were brought here in the first place. Because if you don't understand how you've been manipulated, you've been manipulated. Through music they do it. Through culture. They can blow up these things to sound worse than what they are. And it drives the people this way. Think about how much Pizzagate and that Maria Abramovich helped to drive people more towards different religions and deeper into the religions. Oh my God, I must praise more because there's crazy people out there eating babies. And you're right. You should praise more because there's people out there eating babies. But what I'm saying is, did they do it to you? Did they convince you of that by their mental manipulation through the internet or anything else? I know it's not going to click for everybody. I understand this. But it's important to start to understand the journey of what brought you into your thinking process. Because your thinking process should be yours. Shouldn't be mine. Shouldn't be anybody else's. Should be unmanipulated. And these people, these builders, and their great plan, much like the Great Awakening, the Great Disappointment. You got to look for these words and see how they use them, and where they use them, and see how they tie together. You can make sure it wasn't, manipulation. And even if it was manipulation, now that you've gotten there, can you absorb the fact that you were manipulated to get there so that you can maybe feel even closer to whatever spiritual belief system you have with an understanding that you're not going to allow manipulation to change it or to go up, to go down, to right, left, but to understand when it comes to a God, that wouldn't the most important thing be between you, singularly, you and that God, one-on-one, individual relationship. Nobody else's fucking business. Right? Nobody else's manipulation to get you to that God. You can seek that God yourself, and that God will find you. Their self, herself, whatever self. Self. When we look at these religious sects, not sex, sect, like sexting. Not like sexting and texting, but a sexton. Funny, you use a sextant to find your position. Right? Use the stars with the sun. Someone know what I'm talking about, someone. But when we have these different religious sects, we have what almost always is the case. Okay? You have either the theologian that came from Harvard, Princeton, Dartmouth, Common College, Columbia University, that is, Princeton, Yale, right? Wesleyan, one of these places. And they usually mingle with a preacher or two and start these different sects, these different utopian societies, different communal living groups, communist groups, okay? Or you have the straight up guru where, hey, I spoke to God, which usually comes from the Northeast because, let's face it, people need to understand how this country is ruled. And despite what many of you think, whether you're top-ranking CIA or even the freaking president, this country is ruled from old New England money. Period. You may not understand this, but it is. Which gives old New England people some very powerful reaches. And many people don't understand that, but it might be something to look into. you need to understand. Either way, when those gurus or the theologians, gurus/gurus, start these things, they are connected to the Masons, a Masonic group, the Rosicrucian group, different groups, okay, usually multiple ones. So you got your high up Masons. Then you got these groups. The groups have no idea that it's really coming from the high up Masons. They don't know. They're just like, shaking, quaking, I feel the Spirit of Jesus. That's all they know. So, it comes down through the secret societies, creating these groups. These groups get created. People go for this shit. Then they spread this shit because it's what they believe, and they want everybody else to believe what they believe. Wait a second, what's going on the internet today? Get mad, because I'm going to say it. I'm going to bring Flat Earth up. Go ahead, slap the screen. Flat Earth. They're creating one of those domed societies, closed off societies. Close your mind into the group. Only God can be inside of creating Flat Earth. So you must believe in some sort of creator. Not saying it's wrong. I'm not even saying that there's not an actual kind of parallel to the Flat Earth idea, but I'm not sure that should even be always spoken about when people can't even wrap their head around why they are the way they are in the first place, because they don't fucking read. We're inside of what is called a awakening. In theory, if we've gone through a first, second, and third awakening, and there's a quasi, I think, fourth awakening, I think they might consider. So this would be like the fourth, fifth, or consider it 4A. Let's put it like that way. That way, if it went either way, we can still define it as that. So we'll call this Great Awakening 4A. And that's what we're a part of. Okay? And I'm not saying there aren't spirits out there and they're not part of this and everything else. What I'm saying is you need to understand what is outside these different groups and what is being manipulated on the internet to make you believe what you are believing. Because it's always been used. How many people out there in the internet land you've seen believe there's going to be another Jesus coming? Right? Or they believe the end is near, it's end times. Think about it. Go back before you woke up. Go back a couple years before you woke up. Did you ever think you'd be saying, oh, Jesus is coming? You weren't saying that before. So why all of a sudden now, Jesus is coming, the end times is near, blah, 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 blah. The 7-headed beast is over there in the corner ready to fucking eat you. I mean, think about the shit that you're going along with now. Not saying that it's all wrong, and you need to understand that. What I'm saying is you need to understand the mental manipulation inside of this box, this little box. This net gives you so many different things. And it's not always wrong. The point that is trying to be made here is that you have to recognize how much manipulation is going on out there. Because you could bet your ass at this point in time, I honestly believe they're spending more money on lying to manipulate the masses than they spend on Hollywood anymore. People worry about a great grid falling down, the power's all going to go. No, they need to manipulate you and keep on manipulating you. It is what it is. All these, it just think about the stupidity of it. Of how many people go along with, anonymous and Q. Sometimes they give truth and then they give it to all them bullshit. But people not even able to use their brains anymore and see and understand. Our NSA gets so many billions of dollars black budget and they can't even figure out where the money is, and it's so dark and secret, and got filters and this in Utah, data collection banks here, and every little internet message is going through there. They know where everybody is every second of the day. And when they have commercials on anonymous videos on YouTube, commercials. I can't even put this video on YouTube. Maybe I will, just to prove a point that they'll probably strike me for it. Although I didn't really say anything that was really. Actually, I mean, I should be able to put this on YouTube. Maybe I will put it on. But that's the thing, is I have to worry about what I can even put on there. When I don't even, when I stay away from saying about certain false flags or this or that anymore, I still have to worry about it. They put a commercial on something on YouTube. That means they're willing to promote it, and they're happy to. Okay? It's not hidden. It's not secret. They're not trying to track them down. Upload. They know where they uploaded the video to YouTube, you morons. These people aren't secret hackers hiding somewhere. Every single hacker that's come out of Berkeley and all these other freaking universities out west and whatnot, by the time they got to college, those guys were already working for the government. The best of the best already work for the government. There ain't nobody secret out there. Stupid fools. But the manipulation. So easily, everybody can be manipulated. And I don't understand. I do understand. I understand it. Because it's been going on for a long time. But if we're not aware of how much of this is going on every day just to get you to believe what you're believing, you're going to continue to fall for it. Because in reality, the Alex Jones fake lawsuit with the Sandy Hook people and all that bullshit. What has it done? All it did is distract people and cause less chance of these things being revealed. And some of these other people are involved in this Shady Hook stuff that are involved. There's an eye, my eye, watching very carefully. And if things aren't done right, the world's going to know. We need to stop these people. They look at it like this, okay? And this is part of their teaching and everything else. They look at it as they did a good thing because they woke somebody up. They made somebody learn from that experience. Therefore, what they did is good. And yes, in that viewpoint, it is. But it doesn't matter. There are other ways of doing it. Therefore, deceiving the public in the first place and still continuing to deceive the public is what's wrong. Now, if they went back and said, listen, oops, we did this and this was our reasoning. Why? We want to apologize, but it did help some people. And now we're going to give you the truth. Different story. Different story. Morally, that would be somewhat acceptable. Because then you can go back and say, you know what? Yes, you did a good thing. You corrected yourself. You apologized and then told the truth. We appreciate that. Forgiveness is, worthy. But if you can't, come out, tell the truth. And it doesn't look like they're going to. Because how are they going to? How are they going to explain all these court trials that are bullshit? How are they going to explain hurting people's lives? How are they going to explain all these shills out there that they work with that stole people's money? Are they going to give all that money back? You think Alex Jones, after he got his new cars and houses, do you think, Richard in Boston, after he stole all that money, do you think any of these people are going to give their money back? No. So they're not going to tell the truth, which makes them wrong. And this is why it's so important to understand the manipulation so that we can actually figure it out, understand. I see what you're doing. I'm not listening to you. I'm going to continue, look forward, and make sure you stop this. Because you can't seem to do the correct behavior. Right? The social engineers want to use the Skinner box on us, the people. And point our behavior. But what about their behavior? What about their behavior? Somebody needs to hold them responsible, don't you think?